Natalie. Well, first of all, I just want to commend and congratulate the Foreign Minister of Armenia and the partnership they've built with our Indian friends to launch this first Yerevan dialogue, and I very much hope and wish that it has a good continuation in the future. Now, going back to what we're trying to figure out now about the world, I think one indispensable and unavoidable, unfortunate condition in policy planning and in policy formulation is conjecture and fluidity. Not everything is known or available to policy planners, and the uncertainties are always present. There seems to be a consensus about the kind of world we live in. You have already, framed it. Even the United Nations Secretary General, usually an optimist, was not so much an optimist in his latest report last year. We all seem to agree that we all go through a time of transition, and we live in a fractured and fragmented world. We are in perhaps a prolonged period of transition from one thing to another. One thing we more or less agree, the other thing I don't really feel there is a overwhelming agreement on where we're moving. The overwhelming view is that the multipolar world is awaiting us. There are still others who would argue that given the significant concentration of power in the hands of the United States, we are in a partial unipolar world. The others would rather say that in light of the rising power in China, we are in a bipolar world. Whichever world we're moving, the key word here is polar and the pole. Someone today mentioned the aspiration towards a post-polar world. I think that's an idea that requires some more thinking. But whichever world is a polar world, which implies poles, which implies centers of gravity, which implies big states, those who have a significantly large share of power in the distribution of power, and also, in fact, capacity to deliver global goods or global threats. In that configuration, the multiple, this is not something I think that is happening, that we, the humanity, are facing for the first time. The presence of big states perhaps is part of the human history, unavoidable part. And those big states with their centers of gravity, they create their circles to maximize sustained power, and circles may come in collisions, as again, history has given too much context to us. And those collision points are the fault lines, and the fault lines are the most terrifying thing for those who are in the periphery. Small states, the small vulnerable states, even more vulnerable. The medium-sized states are not also immune from these collisions. So that's, I think, is what concerns us most as a small state, because again, the historical context gives us significant number, a list of examples when we're all we're all victims of the definition of global security. What is global security? The one defined by the big states is the state, a condition in the world where the big powers are not colliding, are not in a major military confrontation. Right? Is it a condition good enough for the smaller states? Because to sustain such global stability, Small states often run the risks of becoming bargaining chips, becoming small change in big transactions of the bigger powers to sustain global security. This is where, I think the concerns are. From the specific angle of Armenia, I think we have two levels of transition. The first level is the global one, and we're not immune from that. The second one is also the reality of the region. This is a region which has three actual participants, Armenia, Georgia, Azerbaijan, members of the region, and three regional powers, Russia, Turkey, and Iran, who are in historical competition for influence, for power projection in this region. And I think that is also in transition in this region. So we are facing here, I think we are facing this dual risk, dual challenge of transition, which amplifies the risks and amplifies the needs for stronger capacities for resilience and survival. Thank you.
Thank you, Sohrab. And perhaps, Susie, turning to you.